Hello everyone, welcome back to CSWA Extra Review Content. This is Lecture 5, and my name is Trent Stasky. And this lecture is going to cover the assembly creation techniques that were used in Workshop 5. So, before I even begin with reading any of the documents, I'm going to go ahead and download the parts associated with the assembly. So, I've got to download the file, unzip it, and then create a new assembly. I'm going to go ahead and extract all and change my extraction folder to just ERC5 for me. Just make sure that you save it in some place that you can access it. And then I've got all my parts. So then I'm going to go back to SOLIDWORKS and create a new assembly. We're in MMGS with 2 decimal places, and our assembly origin is arbitrary. We can kind of place anything however we want to begin with. So again, we've got a bunch of assembly instructions. This time they're a fair bit longer than the Workshop 4 instructions. And we've got some detail views and side views in order to help us actually put together the assembly. So I'm going to go ahead and follow the instructions and just insert rod v2. I'm going to go ahead and click the check mark in order to just begin the assembly and mate it to my origin. And then I'm going to insert the rest of my components. So I need the long stick along with the T-piece, the finger, the connector, and the bolt. And I'm just going to place them off to the side for now and mate them as necessary following the instructions. So once I have all my parts in, we're first going to be using the long stick. So the back face of the long stick should be mated coincident to the front face of rod V2. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my mate tool, select this back face as specified, and then select this front face, and click the check mark. The cylindrical hole of the long stick should be mated tangent to the long curved face in the slot. I'm going to go ahead and pick the inside hole and then this tangent face here. You'll notice that they'll pick concentric first, so you'll have to select tangent. And then in addition, it's on the wrong side. If we were to put our bolts through this hole, we'd actually clip through our rod V2, and that's not what we want. So we're going to flip the mate alignment, and now it'll follow along the right side that we want. So I'm going to go ahead and click the check mark to finish that mate, and then click it again, just so that if I mess up later, I don't have to worry about going too far back. And then this one is asking us to insert the bolt, and this bolt 1 is going to be concentric with the cylindrical hole of the long stick, and the back of the front face of bolt 1 should be made a coincident to the front face of the long stick. So, all that to say, I'm going to pick the cylindrical face on my bolt and the cylindrical face on my long stick. Click the check mark, then select this face on the back of the front of my bolt, and then this front face of the long stick. You can see that matches the images provided as well. So then I'm going to use the T-piece next, and it's going to be mated to the cylindrical hole of rod V2. So this here, I'm going to go ahead and select my face, my other face, click the check mark to insert it. Then the back face of the T is coincident to the front face. I'm going to pick back face and pick the front face and make them coincident. Then I'm going to select this long cylindrical face of the long stick, and then the inside hole of the T-piece. You can see here that it lined up cleanly, though sometimes it might be backwards, either one, so you'll have to kind of orient it in a similar direction, just so that they don't explode. Once I click the check mark, I'm going to again, just click the check mark one last time to lock in those mates. Make sure that I don't go too far back if I make a mistake. And then I'm going to insert another bolt. This time I'm going to use the same trick as last time, so I'm going to hold Control, select the bolts that I want to duplicate, click on my bolt, drag it around, and let go of Control, and now I've inserted a second bolt. So from here, we're going to do pretty much the same thing that we did with the first bolt, and made it just concentric to the inside of the T-piece, and then coincident to the front face. Once again, you can see that this matches the pictures from the document, at least with their horizontal position. And then I can move on to the connector piece. So this time, we're going to select this cylindrical face of the connector, and it's going to be concentric to this face on bolt 2. From there, we're going to use the back face of the connector, and it's going to be coincident to the back of rod V2. So this like front face here to the back of the assembly. Then next is the finger. They're going to mate the cylindrical hole furthest from the hand side, so this hole, and this connector. Yes. Then from there, we're going to mate the front face of the finger coincident to the front of the back face of bolt 1, such that there's no gap between finger and rod V2. So to do that, my assembly is kind of wacky because it's underdefined and moving it around kind of explodes it. So I'm going to pick this back face of the finger and then this back face of the bolt. And if we look at the images, that's pretty much how it lines up here. You can see on the front bolt that there's a gap there, roughly the size of our finger piece. It doesn't particularly matter the orientation of the finger. You can choose whatever makes you happy. The question is asking about an angle with respect to the bottom face here, and it's going to be the same either side. So I'm going to match mine with the picture. You don't exactly have to for this, just so long as it's roughly the same. So then I'm going to mate the center cylindrical hole with the cylindrical hole of the connector. So this hole and this hole should be together. And then I'm going to insert another bolt. So I'm going to go ahead and click the check mark on my mate and kind of just move this into a different position. Then I'm going to import another bolt. So Control, click on a bolt that already exists, move it over to a new area, and then let go. So then, just like the last ones, I'm going to make them to a similar position. So I'm going to use the cylindrical face of bolt 3. Click on a cylindrical face that I want to connect it to, and then pick this back face of both the bolt and our finger component, and then click the check mark. Now, the last thing to do is to make the angle mate. And for this, I'm going to reference the fact that A is equal to 100 from our document. You can set up an equation for this mate. They will work, but if we move on to question 2, just to double check, the only thing that we're changing is this angle mate, and there's no other equations, so I'm just going to leave it as a flat number. Just know that in more complex assemblies, if you do want something to update with an angle mate and it changes a bunch of stuff, you can use an equation to just update it from here instead of editing the feature itself. Two different ways to do the same thing. But yeah. So following the instructions, I'm going to mate the bottom face of my finger here and this other face of the connector together. And when I first do this, it's going to pick parallel or coincident, even perpendicular if things go sufficiently wrong. But we actually want the angle mate. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my angle mate. And you'll notice it says 76.57. Yours might be slightly different. But we need this to actually be 100. So when I click 100, and then look at my part from the front, you can see that the rod here is significantly longer on my assembly than what it should be. So in order to fix this, I'm literally just going to play around with my mate alignments and flip dimensions until it looks like the drawing. SOLIDWORKS is a little iffy sometimes in how it decides to dimension things. Usually it will pick the smallest angle between the two faces, which in this case with our previous orientation made it such that I think it picked this to this, which is not what we wanted. We actually want this inside angle to be 100. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my mate alignment and flip my dimension. You guys will have to flip your mate alignment and dimension just so that it matches this assembly. And then we can go ahead and finish the mate, click the check mark, and now we can go ahead and measure the distance x. So the distance x is going to be from the end of our long stick and the end, flat face of the T-piece. So to do that, I'm going to go to Evaluate, Measure, and then I'm going to measure those two faces. So if I click on my first face, it gives me an area and a perimeter. Then if I click on my second face, it gives me a bunch of distances. This question is asking for the normal distance between the two, which in this case is this black line. Sometimes they'll ask for different numbers, or you might be interested in finding out different numbers. So you might want to look at the change in height or the change in horizontal distance, or you might even be looking at the total area or total perimeter of a part. But anyways, we're worried about center distance or normal distance. And in this case, the correct answer is 73.81. And as you can see, we've got 73.81. So for question 2, they want us to edit A to be 50 degrees. So to do that, since I didn't set up an equation, but I do have my angle mate, I'm going to open up the mates drop-down folder and then right-click on my angle 1 and edit feature. And then I'm going to change my angle from 100 to 50. When I do this, SOLIDWORKS will update the assembly as a preview of my angle. I can double check my pictures, drawings that were given to me, and my assembly. They look about right, so I'm going to go ahead and click the check mark both times, and then go back and measure the distance. So I'm going to pick the same two faces on the parts, so this end face of T and this end face of the long stick. And we've got a normal distance of 152.8 and a center distance of 152.8, which means that we've done it right. So this one's fairly short. The assembly on the actual exam is going to look not quite like this, but it'll have similar principles. Same thing with the SLP test. And with that, that is all I have for you today. Make sure to do your homework, complete the SLP test, all that fun stuff by the deadline, and good luck.